श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय। अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराजनी जय। गुणातीतानंद स्वामी महाराजनी जय। भगत जी महाराजनी जय। शास्त्री जी महाराजनी जय। योगी जी महाराजनी जय। प्रमुख स्वामी महाराजनी जय। महंत स्वामी महाराजनी जय। प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सवनी जय। अक्षरधाम महोत्सवनी जय। In 2013, Pramukh Swami Maharaj inaugurated a text known as the Akshar Purushottam Mahatmyam by Shruti Prakash Das Swami. This voluminous work brings together our fellowship's history, philosophy, and ritual practices in 19,000 beautiful Sanskrit verses. One foundational practice the work discusses is our Diksha Vidhi. It specifies that we practice two types of Diksha: the Vartman Diksha, or the ritual that takes place when a person becomes a Satsangi, and the Tyagi Diksha, that which takes place when one becomes a sadhu. We often conceive of Diksha as initiation. While it certainly involves induction into Satsang, or the monastic life, it also entails pledging, as Mohan Swami Maharaj writes in the Satsang Diksha's 10th verse, Diksheti Drudha Sankalpaha. The word Diksha signifies a firm resolution. Almost 2 years ago, Mahant Swami Maharaj unveiled a Sanskrit verse for our Diksha ceremonies. It's known as the Ashray Diksha Mantra, and it encapsulates our pledge. Dhanyosmi Purnakamosmi Nishpapo Nirbhayah Sukhi Akshara Guru Yogena Swaminarayanashrayat. Having taken refuge in Swaminarayan Bhagwan, through the fellowship of the Akshar Brahma Guru, I am blessed, I am fulfilled, I am without sins, I am fearless, and I am blissful. The key word here is Swaminarayan Ashrayat, which signifies our acceptance of Parabrahma Swaminarayan's refuge, or our promise to invest singular faith in him. Faith is an umbrella term, referred to in the Vachnamrut through words such as Ashray, Ashro, Nishchay, Nishtha, Swarup Nishtha, Upasna, and Mahima, each of which carry their own shades of meaning. Maharaj shows these various forms of faith to be a master key to perfecting the way of life he has so compassionately shown us. For example, when asked how to conquer our mind's demons, he replies, faith. How to surmount pain and the fear of death, faith. How to defeat the ego and lust, faith. How to overcome loneliness, faith. How to experience the absolute joy of satsang with Pragat Bhagwan, faith. He thus firmly establishes faith as the thriving nucleus of satsang, or as a powerful force that undergirds our spirituality and propels us towards perfection. He illustrates his point with reference to the moon's phases. The new moon, as seen from the earth, is shrouded in darkness. But as days pass, it burgeons into a great luminary that gorgeously enlightens the expansive night sky. Similarly, Maharaj says that one of faith develops virtues that enrich and invigorate their personal satsang. Receiving Diksha itself is an act of faith, wherein we symbolically place our destiny in God's hands. But it is also just the first step in the long journey towards developing complete faith. Such complete faith means believing God's words and teachings to be the absolute truth. It means not just accepting, but also experiencing Bhagwan's grandeur as Sarvopari, Sakar, Sarvakarta, and Pragat. It also means living the honorable lifestyle such wisdom naturally begets. The Diksha mantra tells us that faith is perfected Akshara Guru Yogena, or through union with the Akshara Brahma Guru. This concept is often explained using the term Satpurushno prasang, which refers to the act of establishing and fostering a deep emotional bond with the Guru. Through this relationship, the Guru helps us develop faith in many ways. First, he provides us intimate representation of what it actually means to have faith, allowing us to closely hold our lives up to his and learn precisely how we can improve. Second, the Guru actively reaches out to us through public ministry, personal interaction, and letters, helping us tailor our own individualistic devotional path and giving us clarity regarding how our tradition's teachings about faith apply to our specific life circumstances. And third, the Guru lives within us as an eternal witness, allowing us to experience his generous presence, accepting our efforts to cultivate faith, and rewarding us with sanctifying grace. This relationship thus manifests through a profound, lifelong dialogue wherein the disciple reflectively seeks to understand and apply the Guru's wisdom. Given our human condition, however, this is a difficult task, fraught with struggle. But the Guru holds our hand and gently shepherds us as we struggle to live the faith that we have professed. Let us illustrate through an example. Rishubha Vala lived in Taraja, a town near Bhavnagar. He was ferocious and powerful. He wasn't just above the law, he was the law. And even officials trembled in his presence. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was quite generous, and he used his influence to help even ordinary people. But he was also slave to alcohol, and his brazen drunkenness often brought bursts of rage, violence, and destruction, not to mention the depressive stupors and anxiety that followed such perilous bouts. He had repeatedly pledged to forgo drinking, but never to success. He had two persistent friends, though, who pretty much threw up the bat signal by writing to Pramukh Swami Maharaj. They weren't Swaminarayan Satsangis. Who knows what it was they saw in Pramukh Swami, but they trusted he would come through for them. And truly, Swami agreed to visit Rishubha, and Rishubha too was willing to receive him. Swami came to Taraja with prior notice on March 13th, 1979, but Rishubha was nowhere to be seen. Townspeople found the man passed out in yet another drunken daze at a local theater. Ashamed, he washed up, rushed home, and stood outside at a distance, hesitant to approach Swami as he reeked of alcohol. But Swami waved off his sorry state. "Don't think like that. Come, sit close. I'm here to be with you." Rishubha obliged, and Swami continued. "The townspeople speak so highly of you, but when you drink, everyone is terrified, and the entire town comes to a standstill. How nonsensical is this? Please, just once, on my word, set aside your destructive behavior and bring a halt to your alcoholism. Then see how you will shine." It was a magical moment. Rishubha vowed sobriety and took Vartman Diksha, professing his nascent faith in Swaminarayan. Once Swami Shri departed, Rishubha's wife heard violent crashes coming from upstairs. She rushed to see Rishubha in his wine room, smashing his beverages and glassware. The act was symbolic of his resolve. Rishubha had established Swami at the center of his existence. Swami's priorities were his priorities. Swami's wishes were his wishes. This is what happens when we commit to the Satpurusha's prasang. Prasang, though, is about much more than momentary jolts of emotion or dedication. It also involves continuing struggle. Rishubha faced such struggles. Nobody believed him, not even his own wife. How discouraging it must have been. Even years after sobriety, they said it was a phase he would overcome. Some would even cajole him to relapse. There also must have been scores of times he recalled the escape and relaxation alcohol once provided. but he would fight back every time by recalling his promise to Swami. Each success bolstered his faith and helped him grow. He also grew through satsang. To please Swami, he started daily puja, everyday mandir darshan, and Ravi Sabha. In fact, he'd arrive well before each gathering and spend an hour silently tolling his mara in the mandir. Like Swami, he'd travel to nearby towns for satsang and started literacy drives so people could use shastras to conduct their own sabhas. He would help people fight addiction and encourage them to visit mandir, just as Swami had always done. He was often met with failure, but he kept at it, respectfully and with pure intent. Again, just like Swami. Pramukh Swami disliked anger, and so Rishubha set his ferociousness aside. He never again brandished weaponry, certainly, but also never raised his voice and always spoke with dignity. In his later years, once again, like Swami, he would incessantly recite the Swaminarayan mantra. Each of these myriad acts symbolized his growing faith, engendered, of course, by his loving relationship with Pramukh Swami. This bond galvanized his faith until the end. Swami came to Bhavnagar to see him amidst his final illness in March of 2008. He said, "Now Shriji Maharaj will grace you with eternal peace. He will take you to Akshardham. Keep your focus on God alone." Rishubha once again took Swami's words to heart. Upon returning home, he asked for images of Swami Shri to be placed on all three sides of his cot, so he could have darshan of his beloved and trusted Guru while resting. 2 days later, on March 20th, 2008, he asked to take Swami Shri's murti in hand. Cradling the murti and lovingly beholding it, he peacefully passed away. Pain is a lonesome experience. Only more so desolate, perhaps, is death. We learned earlier through the Vachanamrut that faith engenders both progress in satsang and the strength to overcome such dire experiences. Rishubha had forgone his personal demons and imbibed goodness through the faith Pramukh Swami had kindled in him. Now, with that same faith, he triumphantly cast aside terminal suffering and demise, leaping into the arms of death like a gallant warrior strutting off the battlefield after a swift and resounding victory. Faith makes us fearless in the face of death by letting us know that we are not alone. It leads to the darkest of times, becoming the fulfilling end of one journey and the joyful beginning of another, one that will take us to be in God's lap. Strife is replaced with great emotional calm and the satisfaction of having completed our mission in life. However, another special aspect of our philosophy, the Akshar Purushottam Darshana, is that we believe in moksha now. That is, our sadhana is not geared only towards the afterlife, but also towards the present, towards allowing us to experience the fruits of satsang in the here and now, in our daily lives. And so, faith not only grants us courage in our final moments, but it also allows us to be fearless in everyday settings by helping us see our Ishtadev Bhagwan Swaminarayan as Sarvopari and Karta. That is, it lets us see him as the sole agent that allows and inspires all actions and circumstances, including those that surround us. It also helps us see him as Dayalu and Antaryami, or to trust in his compassion and generous presence within our hearts. The Sajjana Namavali that Mahan Swami Maharaj gifted us almost 2 years ago describes how Bhagwan Swaminarayan embodies many of these characteristics. First, it explains his absolute sovereignty as such. Sarvakarana Shakta, the infinitely powerful. Samartha, the almighty. Sarvakarta, the one who is responsible for all actions. Sarvabharta, the sustainer of all. Niyamaka, the controller. Sada Sarva Samutkrishta, the one who is always above all. Sarvakarana Karana, the origin of all causes. And Paratpara, the one who is above even that which is above all. That is quite impressive. Second, the Namavali also describes Bhagwan's compassion through monikers such as Bhakta Vatsala, one who loves his devotees, Shashvata Shanti Dayaka, one who grants eternal peace, Dayalu, the compassionate one, Komalatma, one who is soft-hearted, Paradukhasaha, one who cannot bear others' suffering, Mrudu, one who is gentle, and Sarvakalyanakari, one who does good towards all. The final verse of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita's 5th chapter summarizes both of these qualities in just a few words. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Surudam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the controller of all worlds and is everyone's friend and benefactor. એટલે કે જે થાય છે તે જ કરે છે અને તે સારું જ કરે છે. A third characteristic I would like to draw attention to is described profusely in the Gita. God is described as antaryami, or as always being within us. Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishtaha. It is I who reside in the hearts of all. Expressing similar sentiments are statements like sarvabhutashaya stitaha, sarvabhutasthamatmanam, atmasanstham manah krutva, sarvabhutassthitam vyomam. The Gita's 13th chapter makes the same point about Akshar Brahma, describing it as Hrudi Sarvasya Vishtitam, that which resides in everyone's hearts. Over and over, the Gita and other Shastras thus remind us that we are not alone and that Akshar and Purushottam are always with us. Just think about what this means. The same Mahant Swami Maharaj, whose letters give us direction, whose visits we cherish, whose memories light up our hearts and minds, and through whom God shines his light on this world, actually lives with us and within us. We each have our own personal Mahant Swami Maharaj in our hearts, wherein he is tangible and experienceable. That same calm, sturdy, and bright countenance, those knowing yet compassionate eyes, and that soothing, confident, and enlivening voice, all that we know as Mahant Swami Maharaj is within. He listens to our prayers and looks over us like a guardian angel. What then shall we fear? It was with this very faith that God is almighty, caring, and always with us that Bhagaji Maharaj was able to stay not just composed, but joyful when people disparaged him in Junagadh. He always felt, Je થાય છે તે ગુણાતીતાનંદ સ્વામી જ કરે છે. તેમનામાં રહીને સ્વામી મારી પરીક્ષા કરે છે. These circumstances don't hamper me. They present the chance for me to put my wisdom into practice and earn God's grace. And it's because of this faith that hundreds of thousands of Haribhakto, historically and today, have been able to embrace life's difficulties and enjoy satsang with Pragat Bhagwan. In this way, faith emboldens us when we are faced with both death and life, allowing us to fearlessly trust in God's guardianship. જે થાય છે તે તેઓ જ કરે છે, તે સારું જ કરે છે, અને તે હંમેશા મારી સાથે જ છે. We earlier learned that Vartman Diksha is a declaration, a mere first step towards learning perfect faith, which comes about through a lifelong journey of reflective struggles, wherein we work against the tide of human frailties to imbibe our Guru's wisdom. We also learned that it's only such perfect faith that allows us to fully experience Bhagwan's majesty and obtain the absolute joy, contentment, and fearlessness mentioned in the Diksha mantra. But Maharaj teaches us in Vachnamrut Sarangpur 17 that these joys do not come to us all at once in some sudden realization. Instead, he says that we experience satsang's joys increasingly as our faith matures. એટલે કે જેમ જેમ ઉપાસના સમજાતી જાય, તેમ તેમ સુખ થતું જાય. And this synchronicity is precisely what we experience in satsang. Think towards how it felt when Bhagwan answered our deepest prayers or stood by our side, or how it feels just to hold one of our Guru Hari's comforting letters to us, or even how it feels when we merely reflect on some of our most precious moments in satsang. These crescendos of happiness we enjoy on such occasions are a direct reflection of whatever faith we have learned through our relationship with our gurus. Let us then continue this relationship and increase its intensity through our dedication to Agnapalan and Antrik Sadhana. Let us also celebrate the victories this relationship has allowed us to achieve and look forward to perfecting the faith we have declared and reaping the wonderful returns of absolute dhanyata, purnakampanu, nirbhayata, and sukh that lie just within reach. Shri Swami Narayan Bhagavan Ni Jai.
Thank you for joining us today and listening with such devotion. Bhagavan Swaminarayan has taught us the power of listening to Katha. It purifies our mind and brings us closer to God. So if this Katha helped you, give it a like, subscribe for more, and share it with someone you care about. Until next time, Jai Swaminarayan.